Yeah. Hello everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, which is on topic cloud security and application. This webinar is hosted by Indian Cyber Security and Solutions. Let me first introduce myself. This is Ajay Kumar. I have total 9 years of experience in the IT industry, and currently I am working on the technologies and supporting technologies, Azure cloud computing, AWS cloud computing, MS SQL DBA, MySQL DBA, PowerShell scripting, PL SQL scripting, Python. So let's focus on today's cloud computing webinar. This webinar is very useful for those candidates, those persons who does not have any background knowledge about the cloud computing. He does not know about what is cloud. This is very useful for those candidates who wants to accelerate their career to cloud computing platform. So thank you all for taking your time and attending these sessions. So let's start this particular webinar. So today's topic is we will cover the mainly 4 pillars of this particular topics. What is cloud computing? What are the cloud providers in the world? What are the types of cloud computing? And what are the cloud computing services? And why cloud computing? Okay, so hope you all are ready. So while during the sessions, if you have any concern, if you have any kind of questions, I am here to clear out kind of doubts about the cloud computing. You can comment on that, or I will be here to answer all those questions. So let's move to what is cloud computing. So basically, cloud computing is nothing but is the deliver of on-demand IT resources over the internet. Is called cloud computing. If you remember this particular, if you go through the line which is on the screen, cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of IT resources over the internet. It's called cloud computing. There are 2 terms I have used over there: on-demand delivery of IT resources over the internet. This is the very most powerful, and you can say these are the main keyword of the cloud computing. Let's give you the example. Like suppose there is a person whose name is X. Now suppose he wants to celebrate his birthday by giving the party to their friends and colleagues. Like birthday will be having the menu like biryani, cold drinks, and have a lots of fun. So there are many ways to enjoy this party having the food item like biryani. That person X birthday boy have 2 options, like to serve the biryani within their colleagues and the friends, right? One option is that is have either he can he can prepare the biryani by himself or with the help of friends, or that is a very traditional way, right? Either he can place order the food items to the restaurants, right? So what about if he wants to prepare the biryani by his own or with the help of the friends? What are the requirements? The requirement is that he should have well prepared the kitchen equipments and all the raw materials and all the ingredients should be ready, right? This is the most requirement for making the any food item into the kitchen. Suppose he wants to prepare, he wants to cook the biryani, then he has to be list out if the materials are not available in his kitchen. So he has to be listed out down all the raw materials, then go to market, then buy the things. So lots of manual effort is there. Lots of time will be consumed, and lots of manual effort he has to give in, and money is another factor, right? This is a traditional way. And what about today we are doing? Like the person X who is living in their society, he know what are the restaurants who provide the best in taste of the biryani, right? So simply we can open, or he will open the browser, like Zomato or Swiggy. So he will place the order based on requirement. Love, he wants to place the order like biryani for suppose four friends. So he will just only open the Zomato or Swiggy or other platforms on which he can place the order food, or place the online food order to the restaurants, right? So that order will be go to that particular restaurants, and later on restaurants will cook the food based on their requirement, and that will be handed over to the Zomato guy or Swiggy guy, and later Swiggy guy is delivering your foods to your food doors at your home. This is the basics and core concept about the cloud computing. Here we are, here Zomato guy is doing, or Swiggy guy is doing like they are delivering the on demand foods. Their resources is called the foods. Here, foods is called biryani. So, delivering the on-demand foods over the internet, that is what the Zomato is doing, right? But that is what we are doing currently in current situations. So, this is the main concept behind the cloud computing. Like, now go to the IT industry. So, being working into the cloud computing, while working into the cloud computing, there are into the IT industry, there are many IT resources required, like computer resources. It may be software, it may be hardware, it may be application, anything can be required. So you have the two options. Either you can buy the resources by your own money, whether you will be use that resources for 1 hour, 2 hour, 1 minute, that I don't care. You have to invest the money. But that situation is gone. Now world is changing, technology is changing very rapid. So cloud computing come to you, and he's serving you the requirement, whatever the requirement you have. Like you have the requirement of a server with the configuration like Windows Server operating system having 2016, memory configuration, processor configuration, a speed configuration, whatever the configuration you have, just give your requirement. Cloud providers, cloud will serve your requirements to you and use it, right? Second thing is that, as we know that nothing in this world is free of cost. Like, so same concept applied to the cloud computing. This is not a free. Like, so trial, that is a different thing. Every cloud providers provided a trial period, free trial period. That is a different concept. That is a different things. But main concept regarding the bill is that pay as you go service. Like our electricity bill in our home, right? Whatever we consume the electricity, we pay the bills. Similar concept into the cloud concept billing model. Like whatever the resources, how many times you have used, whether it's the millisecond or second, minute or hour basis, you have to pay the bills. So that's all regarding the basic concept about the cloud computing. I will move forward to the next topics. Yeah, so I don't think anyone have any questions. I don't think anyone have any questions. So feel free to ask the questions if you have any doubt, if you have any questions about the cloud computing. So I will be moving to the next topic. This is Ajay Kumar, Rohit Sahota, Ranjit Sahota asking what is your name. Rohit, this is Ajay Kumar. Any question related to this particular topic, cloud computing, or else I will move to the next topic. Yeah, definitely. So Neil is asking, is cloud computing a business success than just tech success? No, this is the combination of both. This is the combination of both. If you do not have to work on any technology, so why will be using the cloud computing, right? If you are using the cloud computing means it will utilize some, if you it will utilize some, technology which is provided by the cloud computing rather than buying that technology for you for your own use, right? All good, Neil? Yeah, I think so. I am going to start the next topic. Yeah, what are the main jobs in the cloud and what are the growth areas? Academia to university, that is the question. Yeah, good question. Main jobs that in the cloud, whatever the activity you are currently performing into the on premises, those all activity you will be performing into the cloud, as simple as it is. Whatever the activity, like you are managing the servers, you are building your own server based on the requirement, you are hosting your websites, each and every activity which you are performing on daily to daily, regular activity on premises, those all activity you can perform over the cloud computing. And there are lots of area of growth, like because they will come into the next point, at the end of the course, what are the benefits and what are the growth area. Any more questions? Don't try, ask your questions. I am here to clear all kind of doubts regarding cloud computing. Yeah, I think that's all regarding this particular topic. So now I am moving to the next topic. What are the major cloud computing providers? There are many companies who are providing the cloud computing, but out of them there are three major cloud providers in the current situation, in the current market. One is Amazon Web Services, which is for the AWS, which is provides the AWS as a cloud service. One is the Microsoft Azure, which is provided by the Microsoft. One is called GCP, Google Cloud Provider, that has been provided by Google. These are the major cloud used in the world. Other clouds providers like Alibaba and some in current situations, like many organizations you can say those are building their own cloud platform. Do company do R&D also? Yeah, lots of us scope are doing R&D into the cloud platform. Many opportunities. Yeah, so moving to the next topics, types of cloud computing. There are mainly three types of cloud computing. One is called public, second is called private, third is called hybrid. So let's go through one by one. One is called public cloud computing. What does it mean? In case of public cloud computing, its resources becomes the share in case of public cloud computing. Resources means what? Added resources, it may be the storage, may be the servers, it may be the compute resources. Resources becomes the share. Like, let me give you the example to make it more clear. Like public bus, right? Transportation, that is the public, right? Any persons can travel into that particular, transportation bus, or any person can ride into that bus and travel and enjoy their journey. But because the resources are shared, like seats into the available into the buses are shared, like we do on regular basis, like one seat is shared by two persons. Like the same concept in the public. Resources becomes the share into the public cloud, but there are some drawbacks like security. Security is a major concern to the public cloud, right? Suppose if we are traveling into the public transportations, the chances of theft belongs to our things, like So chances of taking the purse, money, bags, mobile phone, these are the very commons, right? Chances of getting a stole, this particular belongs is more in case of if you are traveling into the public transportations. Same concept here. Because now let me give you to the another example. Like because here resources are shared. Suppose cloud providers, suppose AWS has a slab, have a hard disk of slab 100 GB. Okay, so there may be some many persons that 100 GB of slabs of hard disk will be shared between multiple companies, multiple persons. Let's suppose me and another person X wants to, I want 25 GB, another person wants 30 GB. So these 25 GB and 30 GB will be allocated to concerned persons from that particular slabs only. It's not like that I have asked 25 GB of hard disk, then cloud will allocate the 25 GB to me from separate hard disk slab. This is not like that. This will be shared. That's why called public cloud, that resources will be shared between multiple companies, multiple end users, multiple customers. Second is called private cloud. Its name itself defines the terminology called private cloud. In case of private cloud, what we do? Basically, resources are not shared. Resources dedicated to certain companies, certain person or certain organizations or certain users. This is not going to be shared with multiple organization, multiple users. Like if you own your own car, like so no one can ride, no one else can ride into your car, right? Like each and every school has their own buses, right? So students, staffs, teachers, or employee belongings to that particular school can only take the advantage, and what they, or you can say that uh, employee belongings to that schools can travel that into that particular bus. So this is the, in case of security point of view, this is the most secured, right? Rather than to traveling into the public transport. This is the most secure. Same concept here. In case of cloud computing, in case of private cloud computing, there are two options. If you have already your own traditional data center setup, if you have every resources present, then you can go to the cloud providers like we have discussed before this topic. Either you can go to the Amazon, either you can go to the Azure, either you can go to the Google. Say that, boss, I have already set up my infrastructure, but my requirement is to that to transition my traditional data centers with the cloud features. So they will charge, they will come to your data centers and promote or transition your on-premises traditional data centers with the cloud features. Another, but this cloud, these data centers, this cloud will be dedicated to only that particular organization. That data centers, that resources belonging to that particular cloud is not going to accessible, it's not going to share by end users or other organizations. So this is the very secure. Now coming to the next questions. Sorry. Now coming to the next, hybrid. Hybrid is the mix of both public and private. Now you have to decide in which scenario I will be using public cloud and in which scenario I will be using private cloud. So answer is very simple. As we have discussed the basic core concept about the public and private, that itself defines the answer, that which in which situation I will be using public cloud and in which situation I will be using private cloud. So in case of public, non-confidential data or in the user facing data, I will put those kind of data into the public cloud, and very confidential data that should not be shared among the peoples or the end users, that will be kept into the private cloud. So here, in case of hybrid, you can use both cloud to put your data, non-confidential data, public facing data, you can use the public cloud, and for the confidential data, you can put in your own private cloud. Okay, so that's all regarding the public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. So anyone questions, any doubt, any questions, you can write into the comment section. Hope everyone is clear. So let's move to the next point. Cloud computing services. There are mainly three cloud computing services model present as of now. One is called infrastructure as a service. Second is called platform as a service. Third is called software as a service. Software as a service. In case of infrastructure as a service, let me give you the example. In case of infrastructure as a service, like the simple example is your own laptop. Like if you have the laptop, whatever the performance, whatever the activity you want to perform, it will be performing over your own laptop. Like you have control over the operating system. Whenever you want to restart, whenever you want to reboot, you reboot. Whatever the application you want to install, you can install. Whatever the you can add the hard disk, you can remove the hard disk, you can upgrade your operating system, you can add the memory to the systems. Whole activity, whole control to managing the underlying infrastructure will be in your hand in case of infrastructure as a service. One question is that out of three, which has max market transactions, right? See, that depends on the your cost. If you go for the public, much lesser cost will be you have to pay. In case of private, you have to pay more money. So that depends your requirement. Okay, Neil. Now moving to the next question. So in case of infrastructure as a service, you have the more control over what I can say, more control over the underlying infrastructure. You have more control in case of infrastructure as a service. Now moving to the platform as a service. In case of platform as a service, you don't have to worry about the underlying infrastructure. You have to focus only on what you need. If you have to focus only on your application and data, you don't have to worry about the managing the underlying infrastructure like the server on which your application will be running, on which you are working to build the application. You don't have to worry about that. You have to only focus on your building the application in case of platform as a service. In case of software as a service, this is very simple. You have to focus on how to use. Like whenever we go into the party or some party, then we only focus on food, how to eat, what are the items I will be, taking, consuming, right? We don't worry about that. Who is managing, who is cooking, who is serving, how they have managed these kind of things. We don't worry about that. That comes under software as a service. Like our Gmail, our Facebook, like these are the kinds of, you can say, the software as a service. We only manage the webmail, right? We don't bother about who is managing, where the, from where they are allocating to the 15 GB free space. We don't bother about that, right? That activity, these kind of services falls under software as a service. Okay, so any question from this topic? Yeah, one Arthi Godesh, there's a question, what kind of cloud government use this day? That depends. Then that again they have to based on their requirement. Suppose they if they want to, if they want to keep the confidential data, then opt for the private cloud. If they want to opt for the, put the data into the that will be accessible from end users, anyone from the public that they can use into the, public cloud. Like you can say cloud government, right? Suppose there are many cloud strategy which is provided by the AWS and Azure and GCP, like that that is be only accessible from, suppose in case of America, like USA, their military kind of information. These are the very crucial that should not be shared from the any persons, right? These are totally deployed into the, private cloud. That is the different category cloud. If you will go to the AWS, then you will come to know about the cloud government that is totally managed by American citizenship. This is not going to managed by the cloud providers, because these are the very very crucial. Got my point question? Got my point, Arti Godesh? So moving to the next point, why cloud computing? So we have covered many points like, what is cloud computing, what are the cloud providers, what are the cloud types, what are the cloud computing types, and what are the services model of the cloud computing. At the end, why cloud? Why everyone is hurrying? Why everyone is moving to the cloud? So I think the topic which I have covered, the points which I have covered itself will give you the answer about this particular topics. So anyone who can give the answer like why cloud computing? Okay, no issue. So very one more important things, benefits of using cloud computing is the cost saving. Cost saving, right? If you build one particular data center, then lots of you have to give the effort and lots of money you have to spend. Like so that is gone. So it will be saving the lots of money. Means cost effective. Second is most important thing is that easy to use. You can access the cloud resources, you can access the resources which you have deployed into the cloud from anywhere into the world, from anywhere you can access. But only most important thing, you should have the internet connectivity. Otherwise you can access the AWS resources from anywhere. Third thing is that flexibility. This is a very flexible. Suppose right now, current situation, summer is there, summer, season is there. If you want to use the AC, then you have to do either you have to two options. Either you have to buy. If you're buying the AC, then you have to spend the money, suppose 40,000, 50,000. Whether you use or not use, your money gone. What are the other the option you have? Other option we have like take the AC, use the AC on the rent basis. Like we can use the same concept over there, flexibility. Whatever is, whenever is, whatever your requirement, deploy that requirement over the cloud, use it, destroy it. But again, comes to the money. Whatever the resources you are using, how much time you have used for that particular only time, you have to pay the bill. This is the more reliable, this is the more secure, and this is the more scalable and high performance. Yeah, Rajesh, yeah, good. Providing the real time data solution. Yeah, correct. Data access, availability, and many more. Yeah, great. That is the point under we can see the why cloud computing or the benefits of the cloud computing. So that's all regarding the sessions for today topic. So any questions now is time to ask questions. If you have any doubt, if you have any questions, then you can ask right now. I think no more questions. So thank you all for attending these sessions and attending this session. Thank you all. One question came: are jobs in AWS distributed all across India, or are they concentrated into metros and Bangalore? Not like that. The requirement of cloud computing is the worldwide. I think every organization is moving to the cloud. Every organization and every company are moving or deploying or migrating their resources, applications, databases, whatever the IT resources, they are migrating to the cloud computing. So there are lots of requirement into the current IT industry. If you will open either the Naukri.com platform, other Naukri platforms, you will find out the many more opportunity about the cloud computing. So this is the current. I think in every organizations, the first and most technology required is the cloud computing. Either you can go for the Azure, either you can go for the AWS, either you can go for the others. Rajesh is asking which cloud platform is nice in the market. This is I cannot comment on that. That is the I think in the current situation you can say either the cloud AWS, either you can AWS, either Azure, either GCP. That depends on the core concept of cloud computing is the same. That comes in the picture, the cost and the supported the applications and how, but the methodology for supporting the application is a different into the whole cloud platform. But core concept is the same. You can also opt for the AWS. You can also go for the Azure. You can also go for the Google. But in terms of the market strategy, you know, mostly somewhere is some if you go for the someone then they will show the AWS. Someone in some situation you may use the Azure cloud. In most of the cases, in some cases you can use the Google cloud. It's not like that. It seems like a similar kind of the using the mobile phone, right? Using the mobile phone. That depends on the cost and the comfortable how you are using. Like one can using the iPhone, one are using the Redmi, Realme, Samsung, and all. What is your suggested a strategy to prepare for the cloud AWS job market upon completion of this course? I think getting the job into the market is the first prerequisite is to first you have to go through the at least complete the course about the cloud computing. Suppose you are going opting for the AWS, then first you have to be the complete the course concept about the cloud computing. Now whatever the you will do the practice lab hands-on practice that will improve your technical aspects. That will definitely is going to help in cracking the interview. Which one you prefer in terms of services? Yeah, so that depends. I will prefer to use the platform as a service because here in the platform as a service you are not bothered about the you can say the underlying infrastructure. Like suppose if you are DBA, you want to develop, you want to manage a database, suppose SQL Server. Like so, if you are going to install the SQL Server, then you have to first require the platform, means the server or laptop, you can say. like you have to buy. But in this will falls into the infrastructure as a service. But if you go for the platform as a service, you don't have to worry about the underlying virtual machine, underlying the server. You have to only focus, you have to only pay the SQL Server. That's it. So in but that depends also. That depends also. You can also go for the infrastructure as a service, but the cost will be more in case of infrastructure as a service rather than platform as a service. Can you differentiate between AWS, Azure, and GCP in terms of the services? Yeah. See, as I told that the most of the services are the same, but terminology is different. Terminology is the different in case of services. Which has the more services, AWS, Azure, GCP. So in terms of the services, you can say the AWS has the more services, but it's not like that. They have categorized the services into the different sections. Like, but if it's not like that, those services are not present into the Azure. But yeah, so here AWS is the correct answer. Mostly. What are the technologies that are completely for AWS for side skilling? What are the technologies that are complementary to AWS for side skilling? Yeah. So basics, if you that depends also on your taking technology aspects or your technology knowledge. So if you go for the cloud admin part of things, then you have to be knowledge about the storage, virtual network, virtual networking, you can say, and about the virtual machine kind of things, and a storage kind of things. So whatever the technology you are managing into the on premises, those kinds of those knowledge should have perfect if you are moving to the cloud computing. But basic concepts are the same. It's not like that. If you will reboot, the method of rebooting of the servers are different in the case of the cloud. Concepts are the same, but methodology is the different in case of cloud. What eligible to need to take cloud computing and Azure. Cloud computing and Azure. Azure is a part of the cloud computing. That is a different platform, you can say. What are they eligible to need to take cloud computing? So that again, the you have to be at least basic concept about the cloud. You should have the basic concept about the computer. I can say you should have the basic concept like basic knowledge about the you know uh, you can see the computer and its world like networking, storage, how computer works, how networking works, how server works. That will be help you to improve your knowledge into the cloud computing. But again, if you don't have any knowledge, so we are here to assist you. Okay. So once you will start the course, definitely we are here to guide from various scratch. Any more questions? Age 6 to 12 months are good timeline to find a job in Kolkata after the course internship and global certificate. That I can't comment into that questions. That totally depends on your, that totally depends on the company requirements. That it may be or it may not be. That depends on the company requirements, organization requirement into the Kolkata. Is it necessary for networking knowledge? Again, yeah, that depends on which particular services you are using or if you want to enhance your technology into the cloud. It depends. But networking, if you have some basic concept about the networking, that will be much helpful in cloud computing in terms of security. Because in case of cloud computing, networking play a major role in case of security. One question from the Rajesh: how many implementations you did on AWS, Azure, and this AWS? Yeah, so currently the organization in which I am working, so I have done lots of things, lots of implementation like database migration, application migration, server migrations, and managing those applications resources into the cloud as well, and moving to working on the currently migration of the on-premises resources to the cloud computing and managing those resources into the cloud computing. I have not worked on the GCP Google Cloud platform, honestly speaking, but I have worked on AWS and Azure, and currently I am working into the organization in which I am working. If I have missed a question, then you can repeat the questions again. Yeah, so one question: how does one do the internship at the ICSS after many years? I think that is already answered by the ICSS. Rajesh, what kind of a storage solution Azure provide? Yeah, in case of a storage, there are many storage solutions like general purpose. You can use the premium for the better performance, and if you go for the Azure, then the basic concept about the blobs where you can store the data. There are other things into the Azure. You can use the Azure storage, but there are the first most requirement like general purpose. You can use the premium. Then you can use for the another than you can use for the blobs and file share also you can use. What kind of a storage solution? Yeah, that's all regarding the storage solutions. Rajesh, each ICSS provide internships, so that is already addressed by the Ravi. So you have maybe I have missed the question. So I think another questions you had asked regarding the storage in case of Azure, right? That I have covered. Okay. What kind of opportunity in the cloud ICS provide? That is already covered by the ICS system. how do how does one go about the internship? So more questions coming regarding the internships. If you have the question regarding the internship or regarding the course materials, we have the toll free number, or in ICS system is has already shared their contact numbers. Though you can easily reach out to team, and they will clear all kind of questions or doubt regarding the course material, regarding the internship programs, and etc. Yeah, Neil. So you can definitely be go for the opt for the internship on the cloud computing. First, you have to choose which cloud platform you will go for the internship. And for more details, you can reach out to ICS system. Yeah, thank you, Rajesh. Thank you, Neil. Any more questions, or we are good to close this call? How much storage and configuration required for cloud and Azure? So that depends. That totally depends. Rabi, your requirement. That totally depends on your requirement. That how much and for what purpose you are using the storage in case of the cloud, because there are, as we discussed now, there are many platforms, there are many concepts behind into the cloud computing. If you are using either the cloud Azure cloud, or if you are using the AWS. In case of Azure, their main core concept regarding that: blob, table, queue, and file share. These are the major basics. And types of the storage you will go for that. There is a general purpose, that you can say the standard, that has a less performance. If you go for the premium, then you will have the much more faster, much more speed in case of the premium. That totally depends on your requirement, Ravi. Okay, so that's all. Thank you all. Thank you all for taking your time and attending the sessions, and making the, I think this was a very more interactive session. So thank you all. Thank you all. Stay safe.